So as the video title says, I went to Japan, and obviously if you go to Japan and if you're an anime fan, if you're a comic book fan, if you're just a fan of pretty much anything, you're probably going to do quite a bit of shopping, and so no differently, so did I. So we're going to look at all the stuff that I went ahead and picked up, including some gifts as well from my lovely friends, so I'll run through all of that. Of course, if you hear that I'm a little bit like nasally and stuff, as I'm recording this video, literally the second to last day of the Japan trip, sorry about that, I actually ended up catching some sort of a cold or something. So because of that, unfortunately, I'm still getting over that and I am not in tip-top shape, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. That way I don't sit on it, because I feel like the longer I wait, the less likely it would be that I would actually be able to do a video like this or make sure that it's actually very complete, because, well, there's a lot of stuff to look through, including a bunch of small things, and if I don't showcase them on video ASAP, I'm probably going to end up setting them aside into a cupboard or something and then forgetting altogether.
But before I get to the haul, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Meccha Japan. If you want to be able to do an absolutely ridiculously epic haul, acquiring tons of really cool goodies from Japan, this is 100% the place to go. In fact, I actually was a customer of this particular shopping site before I ever actually got a sponsorship with them. So keep that in mind, that I have had authentic experiences as an actual customer. And I gotta tell you guys, they are fantastic. The fact that they are able to ship worldwide means that you can essentially do a shopping spree from Japan without actually going to Japan, which is super duper cool. The other thing that I absolutely adore about this particular website is that they do offer English customer service. You will be able to get a response in English if you have any sort of queries, problems, or concerns, and they respond very quickly, so that is definitely pretty fantastic. And then in addition to that, the other aspect that I absolutely love about this particular store is the fact that you're able to find both the newest stuff that is releasing in Japan, and they have a really great catalog of items from older items. So if you want to get, like, let's say something very new, like a brand new booster box of a Pokemon card set, they've got that. But if you're like me and you're like, hey, I'm looking for this older SH Figure Arts figure, they've got that as well for Dragon Ball Z and much more. Now, of course, I also wanted to work with Meccha Japan to provide you guys with a discount code. So if you use the link down in the description or pinned in the comments section below to visit Meccha Japan, and you go ahead and place an order, at checkout, you can use discount code BLITZ10 to save $10 US off of a purchase of $100 or more. I hope you guys enjoyed the discount code. Check out Meccha Japan and all their social links down in the description as well. And of course, I just want to thank the folks over at Meccha Japan for sponsoring today's video. Without further ado, let's dive in.
With that in mind, let us begin, I guess. We might as well start with this thing, which seems quite random, but this was probably one of the coolest things that I got during the trip. It does say Australia on it, and this was something that was actually given to me by a fellow Buffalo Bills fan. We were wearing Buffalo Bills merchandise, myself and Edith, and we were walking through Disneyland, and all of a sudden I get stopped and someone goes like, hey, yo, can you guys stop for a second? We're like, what's going on? And this guy from Australia just says, hey, I'm a Bills fan. I saw you guys were wearing Bills merch, and I wanted to give you guys something which was kind of a little memento. I thought that was so freaking cool. We met multiple Buffalo Bill fans all throughout the trip with, of course, the typical calling of Go Bills. That was such a cool thing, so special that this person not only stopped us, but then had this little memento for us. That is such a cool idea. Going forward, when I go on international trips, I kind of want to do a similar thing, and if I do see any other Bills fans, I'd like to do the same and kind of pay it forward. So that was definitely a really cool thing to get. Now, from there, let's jump into, why don't we do some cards? So, first and foremost, of course, if you don't know, I am a huge Dragon Ball fan, or Dragon Ball Z fan, Dragon Ball Daima, GT, whatever. Basically just the franchise, a fan of the franchise. And I found these really cool wafer cards. I guess technically speaking, they're not necessarily wafer cards because they came with like more of a, how would I describe it? Kind of like a cheese puff sort of thing instead of a wafer. But the cards themselves are absolutely beautiful. I'll get some close-ups for you guys so you can see them during the video, but they look so brilliant. Now, speaking of cards and Dragon Ball, I also did find these cards, which were from an arcade machine. Yes, you heard me correctly. There was this really cool arcade machine that essentially had you use these cards so that you could kind of like build your own team. You'd slide the cards around. It was really quite impressive. Something that I've never seen out here in North America at any sort of an arcade cabinet. I was incredibly impressed just from a technological standpoint, even though I had no idea what was actually going on, just because, well, I don't speak Japanese, so because of that, I was kind of just trying to figure things out as I went along. For the most part, I got pretty terrible cards, like characters like Yamcha and Hercule, but I did end up pulling a Trunks, which was super duper cool. Once I got this one, I was set and done with playing that particular arcade cabinet because I got one of my favorite characters, so I was pretty stoked about that. Now, since we're on the topic of trading cards, I did also get a box of football cards. I'm a huge football fan over the last 3 years or so. Became a ginormous fan of the Buffalo Bills. Went to the home opener this year, of course. So I'm super duper stoked to be able to start getting some of these in my collection. This is the first time that I actually got to open some football cards. So that was an absolute blast. Shout out to Edith for a really cool and thoughtful gift. And I was just excited to be able to finally open up some trading cards, or I guess just cards, because I don't think they're considered trading cards for football. So that was definitely neat. Now, when it comes to cards or trading cards things, the final thing that I picked up was a Kaiju number 8 Union Arena box, which did have some pretty wonderful, beautiful looking cards. I am super duper happy with the overall pulls that I managed to get, including this absolutely beautiful Hoshina card that has a really brilliant looking stamp. Just a really beautiful looking card. I'm gonna see if I can actually get this one graded with PSA. Now, during this trip, we also went to the Tamashii Nations store, which is of course the huge Bandai store that has tons and tons of absolutely beautiful displays of different franchises, whether it be Kamen Rider or Ultraman or many different various anime. I was super duper impressed by the store once again. It feels like a museum and a store combined together. Definitely recommend visiting it if you do ever have the chance. It is located out there by Akihabara, so if you are on the lookout for it, please do yourself a favor and go check it out. So while at that store, I did go ahead and pick up a Kid Goku SH Figure Arts, which is super duper cool. It's one of those figures that is exclusive to the Tamashii Nations store. And then I also did pick up the exclusive 7-figure stand for Dragon Ball Z, which features the 7 Dragon Balls, and you're able to go on ahead and display them with your different SH Figure Arts action figures, which is just basically like a really fancy action figure toy line that Bandai is known for making. And then the other final thing that I got at the Tamashii Nation store is not actually an anime thing, but Deadpool from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I was contemplating to get Wolverine as well to go along with Deadpool. The problem was that the Wolverine figure in person just did not look good. Like, I don't know, maybe it's the lighting in the store, I'm not really sure, but it just was not doing it for me. It just looked very cheap, and then the type of yellow, like the shade of yellow on the suit, just did not look good. Like, it looked very cheap. So definitely did not want to pick that one up, even though I did contemplate it for a little bit. But Deadpool, absolutely incredible. I've actually already opened this one up. Such an amazing figure, so many incredible accessories included with this one. If you're thinking about picking up a Deadpool figure, this, without a shadow of a doubt, in my personal opinion, is the best figure that you can get when it comes to movie Deadpool. And since we're on the topic of movies and Deadpool, when we went over to the movie theater, one of the coolest things about Japan when it comes to movie theaters is the fact that every movie theater seems to actually have merchandise for different films that are either in the movie theater at the time or were recently in the movie theater. I think it's such a cool feature. It's one of those things that I'm really confused as to why our movie theaters don't do a similar thing. I feel like it's a great opportunity to upsell merchandise. So I don't really know why we don't have that here, but Levy, actually a friend of mine, did go ahead and gift me not just this little postcard here, which if you're like wondering what exactly are these? So these are kind of like lithographs where they have 2 different posters. Typically speaking, it'll have like a movie poster and then a comic book poster, and it's a lithograph of that. It's a postcard sized item. pretty freaking cool. I think that if you get a decent collection of these together, you could probably frame them and put up a really cool display. And then I haven't even opened this one yet, but this is a complete postcard set for the Merc with the Mouth, Deadpool himself. So I'm really excited to get this one opened up and take a look at what's available in there. Next is a bit of a random item. Yes, a CD, an actual music CD that is signed and even has a business card. I didn't even realize that. So this was kind of random. We went to this restaurant that was kind of, I guess, what are they called? I think an izakaya or something like that, where essentially you're just served like different skewered meats and things like that and some vegetables. And this guy was actually performing and singing. And when we came up to the second floor, we're the only foreigners in the entire restaurant, he began to actually sing in English. He interacted with us. He was just the coolest, chillest, most welcoming person. So cool, so nice. And when we were done with the meal, I did walk up to him and gave him some yen as kind of like a thank you, even though I know that there's not really, I guess, welcomed tipping culture, but I just felt like he treated us so nice and welcomed us so well. And typically speaking, at least in my experience, usually when you have live music here in North America, we usually tend to then tip the person as a kind of a gesture of thank you. And when I did that, he immediately, like, first of all, hugged me and then was like, hold on, ran to the back. And I was like, what is he doing? And then suddenly he runs back out with his own music CD to go ahead and share. So that was definitely a really cool experience. And speaking of experiences, one of my favorite experiences during the entire trip was the Kaiju No. 8 exhibition. This was something that we, fortunately enough, stumbled across in Osaka, which was so cool because we didn't even plan to attend something like it, but we just so happened to be there at the same time that the exhibition was going on. Kaiju No. 8 is one of my favorite newer shows that have been airing. The exhibition itself was absolutely brilliant, just beautiful panels of the manga, just looking so gorgeous in really nice high resolution. If you ever have the chance to attend something like that, I 100% recommend it. And then of course at the end of the experience, you also have the chance to buy merch, exclusive merch to the exhibition itself. So I did go a little bit ham with this particular set of purchases. So first and foremost, I bought this kind of plastic acrylic, I guess lithograph as well. This thing is really cool. I haven't opened it yet, but I do plan to actually open it and frame it. It's this image of Kaiju No. 8 right there. Looks really neat. Then I did manage to go ahead and get a couple of other really cool things, like the little acrylic for Kafka, who's one of my favorite characters, and then of course Soshiro Hoshina, who's another one of my favorite characters, so I did go ahead and pick that up, as well as another acrylic that features both Mina and Kafka from that really iconic kind of a throwback panel of the two of them. If you've watched the show or read the manga, you know exactly what I'm talking about, of them kind of making the promise to one another about kaiju hunting. Then there is this absolutely beautiful art book, which is super duper nice. Just has some really beautiful artwork in very nice high resolution. Again, I'll get some close-ups for you guys so that you can see that as well. Really happy to be able to have that. I think that's going to be a really cool memento. You also got this really cool, like, kind of kaiju license, I guess, on entry. So that was definitely pretty neat. Managed to go ahead and get that. And I believe these might be a couple of the other licenses in here, because I did not actually pick these up. This was, I don't remember who purchased these. Maybe Kim, I'm pretty sure. So these were gifts from Kim. So very cool. We've got Kafka and we've got Kaiju No. 8. And then we've got the opposite end has really nice art as well. So not only do you have like the front with the little character art, but then you have a manga panel on the back, which looks super duper nice. And I'm so glad that these did not get destroyed in travel, because I was really genuinely worried about them getting damaged during the process of getting back home. So here's another one of Kafka right here, looking really cool with a really nice panel there. And then Hoshina, once again, looks really cool. Again, just really cool little items that what I'm planning to do with is to try to get a really beautiful like frame and have all of these different things kind of in this big giant frame. that's the plan. I don't know when I'm ever actually gonna get to it, if I will get to it, but that is the temporary plan. And then I did pick up these little magnets. So the magnets themselves were really cool because they were in packs of 2, and these are actually full color. So we basically purchased a box, myself and Edith, and then we just like split the characters slash magnets that we each wanted. And fortunately enough, there wasn't a lot of overlap since our favorite characters are different, so that was definitely pretty cool. We have some really brilliant art here, and again, these are all magnets, so you can go ahead and take them off and display them on a fridge, I guess, or any other sort of magnetic slash metallic surfaces as you see fit. Obviously, I'm not going to show each and every single one of these, but I've got a handful of packs here, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 magnets right there. After we were done with the exhibition, they also had like a cafe where you could actually like order like drinks and some food items themed, and when I say some food items, I'm pretty sure it's just desserts, themed for Kaiju number 8. And one of the things that you would get is coasters. So I did get to keep the Kafka one, which was super duper cool. And I also have a Hoshina one as well. So shout out to the crew. We essentially all, or most of us, ordered a drink, and then we just again kind of exchanged the coasters for the people that didn't want ones for specific characters. And so that's how I ended up with my 2 favorite coasters, or my 2 favorite characters as coasters in my collection. So shout out to the crew. Thank you guys so very much for trading those. And speaking of the crew, they were insanely generous with tons and tons of really cool gifts. So for example, Levi did get me these really awesome Code Geass little keychains. Code Geass is one of those shows that both of us absolutely adore, but for whatever reason out in Japan, it is so sparse when it comes to merchandise. Like, if you love One Piece, you will never run out of things to buy and look at in Japan. But certain things like Death Note or Code Geass, or even Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, seems to be so incredibly rare. Like, every now and again you'll run into some type of merch. So it was really cool to get these Code Geass merchandise. He also did get me a little Cinderace figurine. Then Edith and Kim both got me these really cool Shikishi boards for Dragon Ball, which was really awesome. I was really hoping to find some of these for Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because that was one of those things that I was kind of like hoping to find while I was in Japan. But unfortunately I wasn't able to actually locate any of these. However, still super duper stoked to at least have some in my collection for Dragon Ball, so that is definitely pretty neat. Edith actually gifted me this really cool Eye of Agamotto. So if you've been playing Marvel Rivals, you are probably dreading to deal with this particular item, but the Eye of Agamotto is a really cool item. Essentially, this is from one of those like gacha machines, or capsule machines, where you would put in a certain number of yen and then you twist like a knob and then you get a ball, and inside of it is an item. And this one I think featured Captain America's shield, Iron Man's like suitcase thing from the Mark V, or the Eye of Agamotto. So that was definitely a really cool item to receive. Edith also got me this incredibly cute and funny looking Kaiju number 8 little vinyl figurine, which is awesome. So happy to have this. This is 100% going on my desk. Peter was super duper cool to get me this incredibly cool looking print of my boy Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, which is just absolutely beautiful. And once again, this was one of those things that I was so worried that would get damaged during the travel process. I know that it was in a tube, which is really good, because otherwise there's no way that I would have been able to actually get this back home without damaging it. But still, even in this little tube, I was like worried. I was like, oh no, if there's any chance that somehow, let's say if anything wet or anything like that gets onto the tube, it'll 100% damage the poster inside. So I was really worried, but happily enough, this thing traveled really well and got back home safely. So shout out and a thank you to Peter for that. Then, in a typical Edith is way too generous kind of move, she did go ahead and gift me the 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 controller, which is something that I was thinking about getting, and I was kind of trying to decide yes or no. Then I settled on trying to get the Astrobot controller, but then that sold out. So I was like, okay, well then maybe I do want to get this controller, but I couldn't quite pull the trigger or decide on it. Well, I guess I won't have to worry about that anymore. Thank you, Edith. This is far too generous, too insane, and yeah, you know that I'll pay you for it. But thank you very much appreciated for an excellent gift. Now, this next item I thought would be incredibly difficult to actually find in Japan, just because I've heard that a lot of people have been having a tough time finding this, and because it's even like so much difficult to get that you have to get like a little lottery ticket to be able to buy it. But I walked into a store, they had plenty of them. I purchased one for like literally less than 40 bucks, which was super duper cool. And it's this little Generations Pokemon card set that features a bunch of the different starter decks for Generations, but most importantly has some absolutely beautiful promo cards of Meowth, as well as the Mudkip here, which is super duper neat. So I was very happy to have this particular set in the collection. And then finally, I did go ham for Kaiju number 8 and figure art. Those are my two favorite kind of things right now as far as franchise and then the type of action figure line. So I did go ahead and pick up Shinomiya, I did pick up Hoshina, I did pick up Mina, and I did indeed go ahead and pick up Kaiju number 9. So I did go ahead and go ham when it comes to those figures, adding to my already pretty impressive collection of SH Figure Arts with 4 awesome characters in the SH Figure Arts Kaiju number 8 lineup. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. Of course, huge shout out to Meccha Japan. If you guys would like to do some purchasing for yourself without actually traveling all the way to Japan, Meccha Japan will definitely treat you right. So go check them out. Of course, also huge shout out and thank you to you guys for watching today's video. Yes, I am recording tons of vlogs while over there. So expect tons of that coming your way shortly as well. Thank you so very much for watching. I will hopefully catch you lovely people here on the next one. Peace out. I'll see you all later, alligators. Bye-bye, everybody.